Good evening, everybody. How you doing? I send my love. Here we go. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. Joy, send my joy over the mountains. I send my joy over the sea. I send my joy into the heavens, and it returns to me. Power, send my power over the mountains. I send my power over the sea. I send my power into the heavens, and it returns to me. Peace, I send peace over the mountains. I send peace over the sea. I send peace into the heavens, and it returns to me. Love, I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. Yes, and it returns to me, and it returns to me.
Thank you so much. And thank you all for being here tonight instead of, watching some sporting event that might be also happening. So thank you for being here. My name is Amber. I am a prayer practitioner here, and my pronouns are she, her. We are so glad that you decided to come here tonight, and you are welcome, very welcome here. I want to acknowledge that this service is being held on the traditional and ancestral homelands of the Arapaho, Ute, and the Cheyenne peoples. We recognize that this land is rightfully theirs, and we offer our respect and gratitude for their continuing kinship with this place. Our spiritual philosophy, Science of Mind, is inclusive of all spiritual traditions. We believe that at the heart of every faith tradition lies a shared message that we are all one. I will be your prayer partner today. If you'd like one-on-one prayer, I will be over here after the service. Let's say our mission and vision together. Our mission: we are an inclusive community inspiring personal growth, spiritual practice, and a positive way of life. And our vision is to support humanity's spiritual growth, creating a world that works for all. And no kiddos. Okay. We have some announcements here. This month, our outreach, and we each month choose a place to give what we have been given. And our outreach this month is 3 Hopeful Hearts. They provide compassionate support to families grieving the loss of a child at any age. Through support groups, remembrance events, and grief education, they offer a safe place for healing and connection. Their programs empower bereaved parents, siblings, and grandparents while promoting grief awareness within the community. And Leah's going to give you the next announcement.
All right, everybody, I want to do the next announcement. So we launched a match campaign a couple of weeks ago. Some of you were here for that. we had several very generous donors who gave us $7,500. Like within 3 days, they did this for us. And so this is to support our programming. This is to support the wonderful services that we provide and the workshops and the classes and all the things that we do. And what we're asking is for our congregation then, this includes you online as well, to match that $7,500. And our goal is to reach that by the end of June, which is the end of our fiscal year. So we have some time. Chuck is passing out some envelopes. And when we get to our offering portion of the evening, you can put a little money in there, and we're going to be doing this each week. So thank you for all that you give to this community. We appreciate your generosity. Thank you.
And just remember that this is in addition to your regular giving, because we still need to have the lights on and the musicians here, and so we still need your regular giving. So if you can give something above and beyond, that would be great. We're going to get that. We're going to match that grant, that challenge. Okay, we have now in person and online. Ooh, that's new. Are you ready to take control of your finances and go from just getting by to truly thriving? Join us for a powerful financial empowerment workshop with our very own Chuck Bloser. Chuck will guide you through practical strategies to get out of debt, to save for the future, and set financial goals you can actually achieve. So that is Saturday, February 22nd. And we have a new class, Spiritual Principles and Practices. It's going to be Thursdays in March with Reverend Leah. Join us for a 4-week online course exploring the transformative teachings of Science of Mind. We dive into spiritual principles, set personal intentions, and practice powerful tools like meditation, affirmations, and visualization using the book This Thing Called You by Ernest Holmes. Whether you're new or looking to deepen your practice, this class is a great way to align with your spiritual wisdom. Sign up today. To register for any of these events, these opportunities, or to learn more, be sure to sign up for our weekly e-newsletter. It's the best way to stay up to date, to get all the information, the latest happenings, to know what's going on. And you can subscribe today at cslnoco.org. And you can also find a lot of stuff that's going on there. We're now going to move into a more meditative part of our service where we will have our affirmations, we'll hear a little bit of music, we'll hear the singing bowl, and we'll have a prayer. So let's all just take a deep breath. Just be present in this moment and centered in ourself. And when you take your next inhale, say silently to yourself, love is who I am, love is who we are, love is all there is. And as you breathe out, just repeat those words to yourself. Love is who I am. Love is who we are. Love is all there is. And just continue to breathe normally. Inhale and exhale deeply, repeating the words with each breath, in and out. And as you let the vibration of the singing bowl just move through you, just know that we are here in this moment, in the midst of the divine, in company with the Spirit, a Spirit that is love, and that love is active and moving at all times. That love is creating itself over and over, never diminished, always expanding. And we are always connected as part of that love. We are expressions of that love. Love is what moves us. Love is what animates us. Love is who we are. And I know that this evening, you can hear the music, you can hear the word, you can hear the vibrations. And these are all given in love. And self-love is such a beautiful way to connect with the divine inside you, to connect with that part of you that is love. And I give thanks for this. I give thanks for the love that is present always. And I give thanks for the law that hears these words and says yes, and manifests and demonstrates. And I release this prayer knowing that it is already so for each one of us, and so it is.
I am not a stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say, 'cause we don't want your broken parts. I've learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say, no one will love you as you are. But I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a place for us, for your glorious. When the sharpest words want to cut me down, I'm gonna send a flood, gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen, I make no apologies. This is me. Oh, 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 oh. Another round of bullets hits my skin. Fire away, 'cause they won't let them sink in. Busting out the barricade and reaching for the sun. We are warriors, yeah, that's what we become. But I won't let them break me down to dust. I know that there's a price for us. We are glorious. When the sharpest words want to cut me down, I'm gonna send a flood, gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen, I make no apologies. Whoa, oh, 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 this is me. And I know that I deserve your love. There's nothing I'm not worthy of. When the sharpest words want to cut me down, I'm gonna send a flood, gonna drown them out. This is brave, this is bruised, this is who I'm meant to be. This is me. Whoa, look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen. Oh, this is me. Gonna send a flood, gonna drown them out. Whoa, oh, 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 this is me.
Woo-hoo! Beautiful job, Ken. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hello again. Boy, is it Super Bowl Sunday or what? Maybe we should have had service at 3. I don't know. Next year. All right, everybody. Well, so this month, the theme for this month is love in action. And today I'm talking about self-love. So, deep down within every person, every being, there is this desire to be loved. Yes? All of us, deep down within every single one of us, we want to be loved. We want to be seen. We want to be accepted for who we are. We have this tendency, I don't know, maybe it's just me, I doubt that it's just me, but we have this tendency to look outside of ourselves, to be validated for who we are, to validate our existence, to know that we are loved. We tend to look out here. We look to our partners, we look to our parents, our children, even our pets, yeah? To know that we are loved, to know that we are okay. I spent years as a teenager and into my 20s and even into my 30s looking out here. Am I okay? Do I look okay? Am I pretty enough? Am I skinny enough? Am I this enough? Am I that enough? It wasn't until my late 40s and even into my early 50s, some of you have a ways to go. I hope you don't have to wait so long. It wasn't until my late 40s, early 50s when I finally got it that I'm okay just who I am. That I actually started to love who I am, love what I have to bring to the world, and I stopped relying so much on others to know that I was okay. Now, I still do that every now and again, I have to admit, I'm human. But not in the same way I did when I was in my 20s and 30s. Yeah, it's different, and it feels amazing. Truth be told, I think that shift that happened for me, I believe that it's something that will happen for all of us. How many of you feel different about yourself now than you did even a year ago? Yeah, it's always shifting, isn't it? How incredible is that? We all understand the importance of loving ourselves. We know that this is important. We see it in books, we read it in articles, we hear it, it's out there. We know the importance of taking care of who we are, taking care of ourselves. But we're not really good at it. We're not really good at it. Do you know the divine sees us as whole, perfect, and complete? Did you know? It doesn't matter what mistakes we've made. It doesn't matter what we have done or haven't done in our life. The divine sees us as perfect, whole, and complete. It doesn't look at our flaws and our imperfections. It just sees us with such great love. No matter if we have hurt people, whether intentionally or not, doesn't matter what flaws we have, the divine just loves us. Spirit looks at us with great, tremendous love, like the prodigal son, welcoming us home with open arms. It just says, welcome, I'm here. I love you. I love you. So if we could love ourselves even a fraction of the way that Spirit loves us, our lives would completely change. We would never again feel less than. We would never again compare ourselves to anyone else. We would never, ever again put ourselves down. So often we separate ourselves from the divine. When we compare ourselves to someone else, when we criticize ourselves, we separate ourselves. In that moment, we have completely separated ourselves from Spirit. We don't see ourselves the way God does. We've had a lot more practice in seeing ourselves strictly as human beings. We forget that we are divine beings. We forget that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, not human beings having a spiritual experience. the other way around. Think about the greatest love you have ever experienced in your life. Now, that may be for a partner, a friend, it might be for a pet. Think about the greatest love you have ever experienced. For some of you, it's your child or your grandchild. Now, multiply that by 1,000. That's the love that Spirit has for you. Multiply it by 1,000. Can you even imagine that? It's incomprehensible, isn't it? The amount of love that Spirit has for us is so big. We can't even imagine it. So that's why I added the 1,000 there to emphasize how big that love is. What if you loved yourself? What if you loved yourself the way God loves you, the way Spirit loves you, the divine loves you, whatever name is comfortable for you? What if you loved yourself the way that Spirit loves you? What would your life look like? What would your life be like? Are there things that you are doing now that maybe you would do differently if you loved yourself in the way that Spirit loves you? So why is loving ourselves so important? Why is it so important? Why do so many people like myself, why do we talk about the importance of it? Because if we can love ourselves despite our flaws and our imperfections, despite the mistakes that we make, then we can do the same for others. We can then be a greater presence of love in the world. And I think, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I think the world could use a little more love right now, yes? That's why we're here, by the way. If you've been coming here for a while, you've heard me talk about this. This is why we are here. We are here at this time as souls to be a loving presence in the world, to express the love that we are. That is why we're here. That is why we chose to be here as souls. We could have been born 100 years ago, but no, we are here now. We are witnessing all that's happening in the world. Why do you think we're witnessing that? Why do you think we're here? To be an expression of God's love, to be an expression of that divine love. But until we love ourselves, until we fully experience that, it's really not that it's not possible, but it's harder to really even understand what this thing called love is. Do you know, it's easy for us to extend love to those we know, to those we love, to those we are close to those we care about. But most of us live inside this little bubble. And that bubble includes our community, includes our family and friends and our work friends and all of that. But you know, if we want to experience a different world, we're going to have to start stepping outside of that bubble. And that takes courage. Extending love beyond where it's comfortable. Being a greater presence of it. So it starts with each of us. It starts with us individually. It starts with having radical, I like this word, radical compassion. Not just compassion for ourselves, but radical compassion for ourselves. And you know, we can choose in any moment to do that. We can choose right here, right now, to have radical compassion for all that we have faced in our life, for all that we have endured. And to love ourselves even when in those moments when we choose to take the low road, you know, the low road instead of the high road. Do you know those moments when you choose that? Okay, come on, it's not just me, right? Yeah. So loving yourself even when you choose to take the low road instead of the high road. For the times when you know that you could have handled that situation differently, but you didn't. Those times when you made choices in your life that were not supportive of your well-being and you knew it. If we can have radical compassion and love for ourselves, we then can have radical compassion and love for others. Because, you know, we all slip and fall. We all trip. We all take that low road sometimes. And if we can have compassion for ourselves when we trip and fall, we then can have compassion for others as well. You know, there are many, many right now, and some of you are here today, both online and in person, who are experiencing tremendous anxiety and fear and trepidation and anger and frustration about what is happening in our world, about what is going to happen, the stories that we are creating in our mind about what if this happens, what if that happens in this world, what are we going to do? If you find yourself experiencing that, it's okay. It's okay. But what a great opportunity to love ourselves even more. To practice radical compassion, to practice loving ourselves through those moments when we are filled with such frustration and anger. To love ourselves more. It's important to feel whatever it is that we are feeling, to give ourselves full permission to feel it, but to also remember why we are here, why we are here at this time as souls. If you are hearing this today, whether online or here in the audience, in person, it means that you are here for something bigger. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be hearing this right now. It means that you are here for something bigger. Now, that may not mean go stand on the front lines. It may not mean to take action in some big way. And for some of you, it might. But what it means is that your soul has something to give to this world. Your soul has something to express, something to share that actually can be done in the privacy of your own home, you know? So when we love ourselves, when we are able to love ourselves, through this time that we are in, or through any challenge that you are facing in your life, that love then can be also shared and extended out as a gift to others. We contribute to the collective. We contribute to the collective consciousness with our thoughts, with our actions, with our beliefs. So that means that we have the power to contribute to the collective in whatever way we choose. If you don't like what you're seeing in the world, how do you want it to look like? How do you want it to feel? What do you want to see in humanity? What do you want to see with our political leaders? What would you like to feel and see and know? We can choose to return to our center. We can choose to return back to love. We always have that choice, always. In some ways, it feels like we are being tested. Does it feel that way? What an amazing opportunity we have. We are divine beings first and foremost. So no matter what happens out here, we, our internal divine self, can never, ever be touched by what happens out here. Ever. Nothing can undo the spiritual work that we have done. Nothing can take away our oneness that we share with Spirit, the oneness that we share with all. Self-love in action is choosing moment by moment by moment to return to the love that we are. And being that expression for ourselves and for the world. So when we get stuck and we forget who we are, when we are overtaken by fear and anxiety and anger and frustration, one of the most important things that we can do for ourselves is to forgive ourselves. One of the most loving things that we can do for ourselves is to forgive ourselves. Dr. Roger Teal said this: forgiveness is one of the highest expressions of self-love. It is loving yourself enough to move out of that stuck place, to get out of that quicksand. It's taking all of the energy devoted to fear and resentment and channeling it into something that is constructive, life-giving, and uplifting. We are always at choice. We can choose to stay in forgiveness. We can choose to stay in anger and frustration and resentment and resignation. But it's like being stuck in quicksand. Can you imagine that? I personally have never been in quicksand. But I've seen enough movies, right, to visualize that. That would be really uncomfortable. But that's an idea of what it's like. When we allow ourselves to stay stuck in those emotions of anger and frustration and resentment and resignation and fear, we are in quicksand. And we try to climb back out and it just pulls us right back down. And the only people that we are hurting ourselves. And we are preventing ourselves from, well, really what we've done is we have forgotten who we are. We have forgotten the truth of who we are. We can choose to take care of ourselves now by not watching so much news, by not getting so attached or sucked into social media. You know, it's okay to watch the news, it's okay to be informed, it's important to be informed, but we don't have to pitch a tent there and hang out there. Because frankly, vibrationally, it is not good for us. Vibrationally, all it does is it tears us down. And then we have forgotten once again about who we are. We can choose to set down that burden. And we may have to do that 30 times a day. And that's okay. That's okay. We can make that choice to free ourselves. We can make that choice to free ourselves of the stories that we've been telling ourselves about what's going to happen to our planet, what's going to happen to humanity. We choose to run with that story. We choose. We can choose to lay it down and to free ourselves of that. We free ourselves when we remember the divinity that we are. We free ourselves when we choose to love ourselves through this time. We free ourselves when we choose radical compassion over frustration, hate, and anger. We free ourselves when we begin to talk to ourselves in a new way. Brené Brown said, talk to yourself like someone you love. Talk to yourself like someone you love. So self-love in action is about making different choices. Choosing to do something that is in support of the truth of who we are. Asking ourselves the question, what if I loved myself in the way that the divine does? What if? What if I loved myself unconditionally? How would my life change? How would I see the world? In truth, there are no bad choices. There actually are no mistakes either. There are no mistakes. Because all of it is just opportunities to learn. That's why we choose to come to this earthly plane, to learn. And sometimes we trip and we fall, and then we get right back up again. And we learn from each of those experiences, don't we? That's what they're designed to do. Everything that's happening in our life personally and in the collective is all divinely orchestrated for the health and the healing and the transformation that is happening. There is a shift happening. It may not feel that way, but there is so much light that is pouring into this planet right now. Many of us need more naps. Have you noticed you need more naps? I've needed more naps. I know it's because, despite what we see going on in the world, there is tremendous light that is pouring in to support humanity right now. Sometimes we go through difficult things. And the divine is standing there by our side. The divine is there taking our hand and says to us, you are okay. You are okay. You are loved. You've done nothing wrong. Nothing. In the eyes of the divine, we have done nothing wrong. We have made no mistakes. Because everything that we've experienced, everything is divinely designed for our growth and our healing. All of it. And if we can look at what's happening in our life individually or collectively, and we can look at it from a 30,000-foot view, we will have a whole new perspective. We can practice seeing that way. When you can look at it, when you can give some distance between you and what you see in the world or what's happening in your own life, when you can look at it from a 30,000-foot view, you can see things anew. You then have the ability to see it through the lens of Spirit, through the lens of God. When we say to ourselves, this should not be happening in my life, or this should not be happening in the world, we've gone into judgment. And the moment we go into judgment, we separate ourselves from the divinity that we are. We've completely separated ourselves. Judgment keeps us in our humanness. Have you noticed that? It happens so fast, doesn't it? So fast. Are you willing to look at your life and yourself and every decision and every action you've taken? Are you willing to release those parts of yourselves, the actions, the decisions, the mistakes, the times when you've tripped and fallen? Are you willing to let all that go and to have radical compassion for yourself? To have radical compassion for those moments when you slip into fear and you slip into judgment and you slip into anger. And I'm not saying any of that is wrong. It's when we hang out there for a while, it starts to impact us emotionally, it starts to impact us vibrationally, it starts to impact us energetically. We are always at choice. Matthew Fox, I love this quote. He said, "One must let go of internalized oppression and dare to see oneself again as an image of God, as an original blessing, as a co-creator with divinity. Self-love is a rare and radical kind of love because it requires a trust of our right to be here and of the universe's love of us." You know, loving ourselves is a radical kind of love. And it's a choice that we get to make moment by moment by moment by moment. And as we do that, as we choose to love ourselves, do you know that it transforms the very molecules in our being? It actually does that. So when life gets hard, when life gets painful for us individually, or when we look at the world and we feel that heaviness and we feel that pain, place your hands over your heart. Let's everybody do this. Place your hands over your heart right now. And say to yourself, I see you. I love you. I honor you. I see you. I love you. I honor you. So I invite you to keep your eyes closed if you're comfortable. Gently bring your awareness to your heart right now. And breathe deeply. At the core of your being, know this truth. There is nothing to change, nothing to fix within you, nothing to alter. You are already whole, already enough, a perfect creation, just as you are. Dissolve the temptations of the mind to criticize or judge yourself, whether for who you are now or who you have been in the past. In this moment, right here, right now, make the choice to love yourself without conditions, without needing to change a single thing. Let go of any limitations you've placed upon yourself and your life. Release the urge to compare yourself to others. Surrender any lingering belief that you are not enough. Let it go. Let go of the stories that no longer serve you and step fully into the power of radical self-love and compassion. In this moment, choose to set down any anger, frustration, judgment, or fear. Just in this moment, choose to set them down. As you feel that, as you look at our world, our nation, set it down just for now. This is one of the most loving things you can do for yourself right now, is to just set it down. Hand it over to the divine. See yourself handing it all over to Spirit. Spirit gladly takes it. Let the divine take it from you. See yourself handing it over, releasing your body, your mind, and your spirit of whatever burden you have been carrying. As you breathe out, release any and all judgment towards yourself and towards others. As you breathe in forgiveness. Breathe in radical love and radical compassion for yourself, for your life, and for the world. So keeping your hands over your heart, repeat after me silently. You're going to say this to yourself. Thank you, dear one, for showing me the parts of myself that need more love right now. I see you. I love you. I honor you. Ken is now going to play a few lines of a song called Namaste by Karen Drucker. Keeping your eyes closed, keeping your hands over your heart. The lyrics are Namaste, Namaste, I see the beauty in you. You're going to say these words to yourself, repeating the phrase 3 times, following along with Ken. So just keeping your eyes closed, hands on your heart, and say these beautiful words to yourself.
Namaste, namaste, I see the beauty in you. Namaste, namaste, I see the beauty in you. Namaste, namaste, I see the beauty in you.
And now open your eyes. He's going to sing 3 more lines, the same song. And what I'd like you to do now is turn to someone next to you. You're going to find 3 people. You're going to look into their eyes and you're going to say, Namaste, Namaste, I see the beauty in you.
Namaste, namaste, I see the beauty in you. Namaste, oh namaste, I see the beauty in you. Namaste, namaste, I see the beauty in you. See you, see you, see you.
Beautiful, everyone. Just take a deep breath, feeling that love within you. Some of you may have noticed we haven't been handing out our spiritual practices. They are now online. They are in the newsletter each week. These practices are designed to take what you've learned today out into the week so you can practice it. So it's just a reminder. So as we close out today, just know that you are loved. Remind yourself that every moment you have that choice. You can choose to love yourself through this thing, this crazy thing called life, yes? Practitioners, please stand in high consciousness as we go into prayer. And so, in this moment, in this space, right here, right now, we breathe in that love. We recognize that that love is more the truth of who we are than anything else. I am knowing that as we go out into our lives this week and the weeks and the months and the years that come, I am knowing that when we're feeling challenged by life, when we are feeling that we are in that energy of frustration, resignation, anger, or fear, that we are reminded that we can choose love. We can choose to love ourselves through this journey. We can drop into our heart and feel that exquisite energy of spirit and know that we are okay. And that whatever is unfolding in this world, in this life of ours, is for the highest and best good. And we may not understand it, and it may be hard at times, and yet we trust and know that Spirit's got our back. That the divine is always there for us, within us, around us. In every moment it takes our hand and it guides us through this thing called life. And so how beautiful it is to be reminded of this truth. And so with great gratitude, we hand over to Spirit all that we want to hand over, that we no longer want to carry. And Spirit says yes. Spirit always says yes. And so with that, we release this, we hand it over, and together we say, and so it is.
I am made of the light that hung the stars in the night. A perfect thought since time began. I am one with the love that's holding all of us. It's power in my hands. I am called by the voice that speaks of truth and joy, forever blessed where I stand. I am on the night a pain began. I am one with a love all of us in my by the voice Let's be thankful for rest with it. I am.
It was beautiful. Thank you, Ken. I just make sure that I'm in the right place in source. I should this truth. I invite you to share in gratitude in your life. Being part of the community. Please place and say with me, money in expression. It is I choose of all that comes to me from the one infinite source.
Thank you, God, for everything. 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 Sing it with me. Thank you, God, for everything. 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 Thank you. 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 For everything. Thank you, God, for everything. Thank you, God, for me. Thank you for everything. Thank you for everything.
You would like to know code and a prayer request. We also have a prayer request box out in the lobby. Thank you all for being here today. It's always a joy to come together in community and share this inspiration and connection. So thank you for being here. I want to extend my gratitude to everyone who helps make our service possible each week. It takes a very dedicated team, including those who set up and take down, our amazing musician, our sound and media team, our welcome team, ushers, hospitality, our prayer partners, and everyone working behind the scenes to create this beautiful experience. You're deeply appreciated for this community and the mission of this community. And now I invite you all to join us for Sunday supper. We'll be headed out to a local restaurant. I'd like to go after join. Food and a time to connect. Stand now for our benediction. Placing your hands over, say with me, may we be at peace. May our hearts remain